Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the incredibly complex, high-stakes diplomatic standoff that's currently unfolding in the Middle East. If you've been watching the news, you know there is a lot of noise out there right now. But today, we're going to cut right through that noise. We're looking directly at the source documents and the raw data to understand exactly what is happening between the US and Iran. Let's get right into it.
But hey, before we even mention foreign policy, let's ground this in your daily reality with a number. $4.45. That's the current average cost for a gallon of gas in the US right now. It's that number you wince at every time you fill up your car, right? Now, you might be wondering, what does my morning commute have to do with international diplomacy? Well, the answer is absolutely everything.
Section 1. The price of conflict. From the gas pump to the Gulf. Let's dive right into this micro to macro view. Because to understand that 445 price tag, we really have to look at the operational reality on the ground. Or actually scratch that, on the water. We are now 65 days into this conflict. And right now, as we speak, a US-led task force is physically escorting commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. They're guiding these massive ships through an absolutely crucial global waterway that the US does not control, navigating past sea mines that frankly nobody can fully locate. It is an incredibly tense, highly dangerous daily operation, literally just to keep global trade moving.
And this highlights a massive disconnect. On one hand, you've got the diplomatic rhetoric. Former President Trump recently described the discussions as very positive. But then you look at the operational reality, and it tells a completely different story. We're looking at a 65-day war, stranded ships needing active military escorts, and gas prices hitting that 445 mark. The diplomacy and the physical reality, they're pointing in completely opposite directions.
Section 2. Iran's 14-point proposal, unpacking the demands.
So, right now, diplomatic documents are actively being passed back and forth through Pakistan. They're acting as a mediator here since the US and Iran aren't actually speaking directly. And Iran has submitted a 14-point plan in response to the US proposal. They want to resolve all issues within 30 days, rather than just settling for a temporary ceasefire. They're demanding guarantees against future aggression, the full withdrawal of US forces, reparations, and the lifting of blockades. You see, this isn't just a basic negotiating stance, it is a fundamental statement about exactly how Iran views its own security, this entire conflict, and its long-term relationship with America.
Section 3. A structural impasse, the guarantee, and the withdrawal. Let's break down why both sides are currently stuck in what experts are calling a structural impasse. This is a clash of core principles, not just haggling over numbers. The first major hurdle is what we'll call the guarantee. Iran is demanding a written promise that America will never attack them again. Now, Washington will likely never sign this. Why? Because it permanently limits American military options in the Middle East. It's virtually a non-starter. But to really understand why Iran is so incredibly adamant about this, we have to look at history from their perspective.
Just look at the sequence of events over the last 2 decades. Back in 2003, neighboring Iraq surrendered its weapons of mass destruction. And what happened? They were subsequently invaded and destabilized. That exact same year, Libya voluntarily dismantled its nuclear program. By 2011, Gaddafi was ousted and the regime was changed. So from Tehran's viewpoint, they've watched their neighbors give up their ultimate deterrence, only to face regime change anyway. This history creates a massive gap between what Iran feels it absolutely needs to be safe and what America can actually promise.
And then we have the withdrawal. Iran is outright asking America to withdraw its military forces from bases in Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. Let's put that into perspective for a second. American forces have been stationed in this region since 1991. That is a full 35 years of established military presence, which includes carrier battle groups permanently operating in the Persian Gulf. Iran is demanding the complete removal of this deeply entrenched presence as a strict condition for ending a 65-day war. Unsurprisingly, former President Trump has already stated he can't imagine this proposal being acceptable.
Oh, and the friction doesn't stop there. There's also the very sticky demand for reparations. Iran wants America to pay compensation for the destruction caused by Operation Epic Fury. We're talking about strikes on military facilities, mine damage, and massive economic losses from the blockade. Now, America has never paid reparations to a country it attacked in modern history. So this demand represents a very deep moral and legal principle from IRGC hardliners. It's definitely not some casual bargaining chip that's just going to be quietly dropped.
Section 4. The nuclear disconnect, sequencing the peace.
As if those territorial demands weren't complex enough, right? We also have a total disconnect on how to actually sequence the peace when it comes to nuclear capabilities. Iran's 14-point plan entirely shelves the nuclear domain. They're suggesting, hey, let's end the shooting in 30 days first, and we'll deal with the nuclear questions later. To Iran, this delay is a major concession. But Washington has demanded from day one that Iran accepts stringent nuclear restrictions before the war can end. So America views delaying the nuclear talks as the exact opposite of a concession. They are fundamentally at odds on step 1.
Section 5. Diplomacy versus reality. Who will blink first?
Which brings us to this absolutely staggering public statement from the intelligence branch of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. They publicly stated, Trump's only options are an impossible military operation or a deal. The IRGC is Iran's most hardline military institution, and they are out there publicly dictating what they believe America's options are. This raises a huge question. Is this incredible confidence just a massive bluff from a besieged country with a collapsing economy? Or is it a genuine, calculated assessment that America's military options in the region have truly been exhausted? The upcoming negotiations are going to test exactly that.
So where does that leave us? We've got two governments who deeply do not trust each other, forced to communicate through a mediator. Both sides are reviewing proposals and simultaneously declaring the other's terms completely not acceptable. They both say the ball is in the other's court, and meanwhile, the US military is out there actively escorting ships through live minefields. The most consequential diplomatic negotiation in decades is happening while the bullets and the geopolitical risks are literally still flying.
And through all of this, as the politicians debate the sequencing of nuclear talks, and as warships literally dodge sea mines in the Strait of Hormuz, the price of gas stubbornly sits right at $4.45. The entire global economy is feeling the weight of every single stalled negotiation.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Who is going to blink first in the Strait of Hormuz? As Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Kazem Garibabadi stated, the choice is now diplomacy or confrontation. This structural impasse is rigid. The stakes literally could not be higher, and it leaves all of us wondering how or even if this incredibly dangerous global chess match will finally break. So what do you think it will take to bridge this massive structural divide? Keep learning, keep questioning, and thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.